All right, so I'm going to introduce to you guys our two panelists, but I want to tell you a story. I came to a Lions Club leadership thing once, and I was highly disappointed when the person that was conducting the panel on this particular session said, "Boy, isn't Lions like going to church?" And it's not.
No.
And I found myself saying, if I'm ever going to have anything about servant leadership and talking to people in Lions clubs about servant leadership, I'm not going to have Lions do it, because Lions will get enough indoctrination about how to be a lion from Lions. But I felt like after that night, I wasn't going to get enough on servant leadership from the Lions that I was around. I don't know if that makes any sense to any of you, but so I thought it would be neat if we had a panel of a few people. And I originally was going to have a couple of men and a couple of women, but every single one of the women that I had asked had something going on. One of them, Tom, was Hannah.
Oh, yeah.
And she's out of town. Karen Glazer was another one, but her husband just had surgery and is in recovery from that. But two of my very favorite men agreed to be a part of this panel for you guys. The first one that I'm going to introduce is Tom Burgett. Tom is a pastor, retired just recently, I think. Didn't you retire a couple weeks ago?
June 30.
Yep. From Vandercook Missionary Church, real close to where Jim lives.
Okay.
Or not Jim lives, but where Jim goes to his club. Jim's part of Vandercook Lake Lions Club. Tom has also been involved in a lot of things that with me in common. We both were involved in the Emmaus community, which if you guys want to know more about that, we'll probably talk about that. Tom is also, he was the, am I correct in remembering this right? You were the lay director one year and then the spiritual director after that?
6 months later, yeah.
Yep. And then Ted, I've known Ted for probably as long as I've known, no, not quite as long as I've known Tom. Ted Wilson, I know because he was in my business networking group. He became one of my massage clients, but he also became one of my friends. I learned a lot from Ted. He was involved in Business Networking International. He was the vice president when I was a membership membership person. He's a Mason. He was a tail twister in Lions many moons ago. But he's since been in Kiwanis. He's been active in his church. And so what I'm going to have each one of them talk to you about is their perception of what a servant leader is, and help you with maybe 3 or 4 key factors that each one of them would feel you need to have if you want to be an excellent serving leader. So whichever one of you wants to start can start.
Okay. I got my introduction to serving the community. I was still a teenager. My dad was a Lions member for 63 years before he passed away. And one of my earliest opportunities to servant lead, I was more like, we're going. A Girl Scout troop needed cookies delivered from Jackson to Litchfield, Michigan. And my dad had a swimming pool business on the side from being a pharmacist, and he had a van, cargo van. And so he said, "Look, come on, we're going." And so we loaded up that van and drove from Jackson down to Litchfield and delivered those Girl Scout cookies. And so I was brought up in a home where service was important, giving back to the community. I guess my first public opportunity, 1989, I joined a committee at our local school out here in Homer. And then 6 months later, one of the school board members had some health issues and needed to resign. And I was asked to step up to the school board. And I did that for 2.5 years. Started the Downtown Development Authority in Homer. And then in 1998, I went on a walk to Emmaus, which is a Thursday night through Sunday night religious experience, not really a retreat because it's really designed to be once. And served there for 19 years in different roles. And yeah, 2003, October, I was a director on the layperson side, and I had been taking classes to become a pastor. And so, and then April of 2004, I served the first one as a clergy person. That was 18 years. During that last walk that I worked, I got an impression from God that said, this is your last one. I have something other for you. And so me being the human that I am said, okay, if, I'm going to serve. So if there's something else, you got to let me know. And within 3 weeks, I was asked to serve on 2 boards, and I'm still there. One of them is the Center for Women. I've been serving as board chairman there for 4.5 years.
You're still chair?
What's that?
You're still chair?
Yeah, nobody else
Oh my
wants it.
God.
No, it's okay. And then the other one is St. Luke's Clinic in Jackson, and that's a free clinic for people that don't have any insurance. I'm a trustee on that board. So those have been what I've been using my volunteer hours. That's what I call it, volunteer hours for. A couple of things I think that you need to. Very few people know everything they need to know about leadership from the very beginning. Willingness to serve is number one. Finding a mentor or two that will help you along the way. Number two, serving in an area or a field that you have a passion about. I think those would be the main 3 that I would say would be important. Being available, finding a mentor, and serving in a field that you are passionate about, whatever it may be. If you guys have questions, I'd be happy to address those too, but it looks like Ted's got his microphone off. I don't know if there he is. You want your turn in the barrel?
I can take a few minutes. Again, my name is Ted Wilson. I grew up in a little town called Chelsea. Went to Eastern Michigan University and started working for a small company called General Motors, where I resided for 23 years. Then I took the buyout in 1988 and have been doing all kinds of different stuff ever since. got involved with the Masonic Lodge early on. And that's a little bit different than what we're going to talk about today, but I'll tell you a little bit about that in a few minutes. I joined joined the Lions Club because a lot of people from Chelsea were in Lions. And as B said, I was a tail twister, loved it very much. But then I moved away and had some situation where I got involved with Civitan for a very short time because that's where I was working in Detroit. Tom, go ahead. I've got just a quick one to do, so take care of this. So go ahead and.
The reason why I asked if Tom was still chair is he was chair when I left 2 years ago.
Oh.
Or was it 3 years ago now?
Yeah, maybe 3. One other thing as I was sitting here thinking is surrounding yourself with good people, people that are like-minded, people that are willing to encourage you along the way, people that are willing to work alongside you. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the DISC model, the DISC model of personality. I'm a high S, which means I want everybody to be happy all the time, even though I know it's not going to happen. And I'm very good at getting projects started, but I'm not really great at finishing projects. I do them. And part of that is birth order too. I'm number 3 instead of number 1. Number 1 are the ones that like to get everything accomplished. Do you guys have any questions? Anything I can help you with?
Well, what's kind of going through my mind, you know, and I've always been aware of, you know, surround yourself with the people you want to be like. And so like you were saying, you know, surrounding yourself with like-minded people is real important. And I've been real surprised. What?
Your name?
Oh, my name is Jesse. Sorry. I'm the marketing and communications chairperson. Apologize for that. Just crashed the train.
Sorry.
It just totally it went. People, you know, is real important, and I've been real surprised at what I've been surrounded with through Lions. But maybe expand a little bit on how to find those like-minded people.
Thanks, sir.
I think,
Have a good weekend.
especially being in a small town, it's hard.
I'm sorry, I missed your question. UPS showed up and they walked in.
What I said was, could you expand on maybe ways to surround yourself with like-minded people? Because as a virtual club, I think we have a lot more opportunities. You know, personally, I know I'm in a place that finding like-minded people is kind of hard, just, you know, because of where I live and some transitions that I'm in. So maybe talk a little bit about how to do that.
Okay. In the 2 instances that I'm serving currently, Center for Women is a pro-life pregnancy resource center. And so in that vein, we screen applicants for the board or volunteers at this point, but I'm speaking more for the board end because that's where I serve. But we screen people asking, you know, what's your passion, right? Now, my vice chairman, I don't know if John was there when B was there or not, I don't remember, but and
Yes,
he
it
would.
was.
Okay, and he would share the story. His application was this. My wife and I, girlfriend at the time, got pregnant, and we drove to an abortion clinic. And he said something, he now knows that it was a nudge of God, but something stopped them. And so he has a passion for the mission of Center for Women. Friend of mine, Rosemary, B will know who Rosemary is, goes to church with. I did not realize that they had a daughter that was a client. We were looking for another board member, and I've known Rosemary for 35 years. Her husband was my best man 46 years ago. And so I just asked her if she might consider, and not realizing that they had a daughter that had been a client. So how do you do that? You look for people that are interested in the same things you're interested in. Do all of them have the same passion? I would say no. Some on that board are more financially driven than ministry driven, if that makes a sense. They're there to make sure that that we're keeping things going in the right direction. One on the board, his gift is the building and grounds and taking care of that, although he does have the vision and the passion. So how do you do that? You can't take on an ad, and say, come be one of my friends. But you can ask the question of your friends, who do you know? Who do you know that might be a good addition to our group? And just listen to what's out there.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Tom,
Yes, sir.
that's a real good situation. I love the way you explained your particular situation. I was thinking that we're going to talk a little bit different because you can be a servant leader like you are that deals with a lot of with a few individuals on a one-to-one basis, or on that type of thing, that type of basis. I thought we were going to talk about things like service clubs, Lions, Rotary, Kiwanis, things like that. And
That's still very much a part of it.
Yeah, what I was thinking about is when we join a service club, there's a lot of things that we do to take what that particular club their goal is, like Lions. It's the site. Kiwanis, it's Children of the World. Civitan is teaching people about the early part of the United States, things like that. And so what we need to do is, as leaders, we need to be part of that leadership that brings people in, and then they do the things that club or that particular organization wants to do. In the service clubs, virtually what we do is we raise as much money as we can every year, and then give it all away, and raise that same amount of money or more the next year, and so on and so on. So what we need is people who have a passion for that. What you said earlier about asking people to join, that's one of the major things. You need people that have the same mindset as the people that we want in the club. When in so many of these service clubs, we're all knife and fork people. We go, there's a meal involved, whether it's a breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And it can become what I call a knife and fork club. All we do is we meet, we have a speaker, hopefully more than once in a while. And once in a while, you get a situation where they have a business meeting for that. That's not what those organizations are about. Those organizations are one that they want to do things. And I'm going to give you some examples of what happens. I joined Kiwanis because that was the one that had the situation that I could join and do things. I joined a breakfast Kiwanis. And we were doing a number of things early on. But as we started losing members, because you lose, and we didn't pick up those members, we didn't pick up other people because we did not ask people to join. And the few we did ask were not really interested in what we were doing. And so we got down to that the only money we raised, we wrote grants for. And those grants were fine, but we didn't meet with the public. The public didn't know anything about us. And they worked the way things were going. They did not do what we needed to do. So we got down to we were less than 12 people for a while. And that's when I changed Kiwanis clubs. I went to the Kiwanis Club of Jackson, which was a major situation. If you hold on, go ahead, Tom, take something for about 3 minutes and I'll be right back.
You know, I was gonna say that both sides are just as important. And I'm gonna say why, because this club is a virtual club. And so you've got, on the one hand, some of our members right today, I believe we have Phyllis and Lindsay, is that correct? And both of them are in Port Huron. Is Gina on?
She's not.
Gina is not on, okay.
And Wayne is not.
We didn't think Wayne would be though. And so what you've got here is you've got people who not only need to learn about how to be club members, but also you guys need that support on how to be more individual servant leaders. And that's why I made the panel the way that it is. Here we've got Tom, who can help you with the individual stuff, and then you've got Ted, who is Mr. Service Club extraordinaire. No, I shouldn't say it like that. But that's why I did this the way that I did, because I wanted you guys to hear something from both sides of the coin.
It's important to have that variety
Yep,
for us,
yep.
because we are a mix.
So, Tom, could you hear all that?
I heard you, but I didn't hear.
Kristen?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was saying that we needed the variety, so.
Okay.
So,
Who's that is? It's not me.
is that you, Jim?
No.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, interesting.
Tom, the person I think of in this room that could use some advice, I think, is our chaplain. David is the chaplain of this virtual club. His name is David Sterneman.
Hi.
And I would, if there's anything you would tell somebody who is a chaplain of a club, what is the one thing that you would tell them to do?
How long you got?
We got a while.
Not everybody believes as you believe. I found that even within denominational boundaries. My favorite phrase over the last 10 years is, help me understand. Help me understand what you're saying. I replaced words like, that's just wrong, that's dumb, that's not how we go about things. to help me understand where you're coming from. In the religious world, there's this thing, well, in the world altogether, is a word called postmodernism. And very briefly, postmodernism says, I have to earn the right for you to listen to my story. And you earn that right by listening to their story. I would assume that as chaplain, there are several different beliefs, some non-beliefs, maybe some Eastern mysticism, maybe a variety of which of that. And so help me understand would be a phrase I would get to learn quickly. And then listen to what the people say. Obviously keep things in confidence. Do what you say. If you say, I'll pray for you, I've changed that phrase most of the time to, let's pray right now. And so they would know. Now, I don't know what you're going to come across as a chaplain. I don't remember my dad's Lions Club having a chaplain. They might have.
Not every club has one.
What was that?
Not every club has a chaplain.
Not everyone has a chaplain. Okay. And this is a virtual Lions Club, so you're gonna have not have the issue of distance, but you're also not gonna maybe be as close. Maybe you'll be closer. In our, yeah, I'll stop there. I was gonna say in our district, we've got about 230 pastors, associate pastors, and the leader offered prayer every Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock by Zoom. And there were usually five of us there, or 6. And Ted's shaking his head yes, so he knows that especially the younger generation are not joiners. And so that's a challenge to try and get the younger group in.
And that's part of I'm in that group.
Yeah.
I'll be 29 December.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ted. You're
You're
back.
29?
Ted.
I'll be 29.
Well,
Did my math
and
wrong. I think
you know what, and the younger people are different than we as older people think right now. When we were their age, we felt pretty much the same way. How many of us joined at age 21 or 22? Not a whole bunch. We waited. Many of us were in our early to late 30s. We had our children. We did things. The raising the family was, in my case, heck, I'm an old guy. On Sunday, I'll be 81 years old.
Oh, wow.
So we took care of family first, but as the kids got into school, and especially elementary school, we did different things, and that's when we could join. Now, I would get back to what I said before. Service clubs, and especially the ones that we're involved with, do a service for the community, and community service is what people need to know about. I joined I told you about the Kiwanis Club. I joined a second Kiwanis Club and left the first one. And the reason I did that is because they were doing things all the time. They had racing for dollars, which when you say St. Luke's Clinic, who is in charge of that?
Yeah, we've got some racing for dollars.
Yeah, that
Dr. O'Connor.
Dr. Jim, yeah.
Yeah,
We raised over $200,000 for St. Luke's Clinic over 10 years.
yes, you did.
Because Doc O'Connor came and talked to us and said, you know, we'd like to do that. And we did the Kiwanis Club had the auctions, and we raised a bunch of money. We raised in the vicinity of $40,000 to $45,000, the first 20 of which always went to St. Luke. But then as we got more money in, and it was a drawdown, and everybody pitched in to do that.
Right.
And as we got more and more people involved and raised more money, we found other groups that could use that. And we got, I think we got the Rotary Club to be part of us too, because they came over and helped. And their foundation got some of the money. But it was what they wanted, the people in the club wanted to do. And we'd
Sure.
have people that came and joined the club, and they say, that's really not what I want. So they would leave and either not join something else or join something they were that was more in tune with what they wanted. But the Kiwanis Club of Jackson every year raised close to $100,000. And they did it because various leaders, notice the word leaders in that, said, gee, I'd like to have we play golf in the winter, the Chili Golf Open out at one of the courses. And we raised money there and gave shoes and boots to the underprivileged kids in the Jackson area. And we did that among other things, but that was one of our winter projects. And projects are the things that got us going. Somebody came back from Las Vegas and they told us about, we could get flags and we buy the flags and we rent them and put them in people's yards 3 days before a holiday and 3 days after, and there were 6 holidays. So we charged them, I think we started out at $35 to do that. And if any of you are in Jackson, Michigan, you see the flags around Cascades because one of the organizations volunteered and they paid for the flags to go around Cascades. And everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people did that, purchased a flag so we could put it in and take them out around the holidays. And what's wild is people said, well, that sounds like fun. How do I get involved?
Right.
Servant leadership. We led, they joined, and in the first, I think the first 12 years that we had that particular situation, some of the people that joined became officers of that and became the leaders. And we had leaders in Jackson, Michigan that were joining that because it was a fun thing to do. And the community enjoyed it and the community liked it. And with Lions, you know, the hearing situation where the site situation, Leader Dogs for the Blind came out of that, because that was started in Rochester, Michigan by some people, and I'm going to brag a little bit. They were part of the Masonic Lodge that helped start that. And they did that, and Leader Dogs for the Blind are all over. I now live in Tennessee. That's where I am talking from right now. And there's a Smoky Mountain service dogs for veterans that have just contacted me and said, Ted, would you like to be part of that? So I'm looking into that right now. But these things,
I've been to it's been a while, but I've been to the Smoky Mountains before with my family.
I didn't understand what he said.
He said he went to the Smoky Mountain area with his family.
Yes, yeah, yeah, and but I just found out about that this past week. Somebody from our church talked to me and we did that. We can be servant leaders But if we look behind us and there's nobody there, all we're doing is
Right.
taking a walk.
Right.
We need to find people that are passionate about what we are and want to do what we want to do. My Kiwanis Club down here, I'm sorry to say, is not really very good. We have one really big project. We have a pancake breakfast. We sell, we made about $47,000, not from selling pancakes, but from selling what I call hole sponsorships. When you have a golf tournament, you know, and I'll be a hole sponsor. Well, we had a whole bunch of hole sponsors. And because of that, that took care of it. And my thought was, hey, we can do some of the stuff I knew in Jackson. They didn't want to do that.
Right.
So I'm trying to work on some stuff and dictionaries for the third graders that they do there. The people don't want to do that. There's not enough, you know, we don't have enough. We're a knife and fork club in Jackson. And I'm not in Jackson. We're knife and fork club here in Alcoa, Tennessee. But to be a servant leader, you've got to have people that are passionate about what you want to be passionate about and
Right.
to do those things. And so one of our big jobs is to find people that want to do what we want to do, be part of us.
Yeah.
And that's really, really important. And you become a servant leader by doing that. You know, on the best day I ever heard of was when Christ had 12 apostles and they brought 5,000 people together. That's probably as good a job as you can do with loaves and fishes. They were servant leaders, but they got that done.
Yes.
That's what we need to move in the direction of,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Tom, go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask, when you're talking about the racing for dollars, that wasn't the only thing that group did all year, right?
Oh, heavens no. That
So
was
there are
one of
other
about-
people, there are other people that had other interests of leadership in some other area.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Right.
yes. Bob Johnson did the Chili Golf Open. Joe Wolf was, we did bell ringing for, we sold Kiwanis newspapers to tell
Yeah.
people about Kiwanis. Trying to think of some other stuff. We had a couple other projects that we did, but it was, we had the dictionaries for the third graders.
Yeah. Joe was involved in a youth golf classic too. Was that Kiwanis or was that his own?
That was his own,
Okay,
or it wasn't Kiwanis, I should say.
wasn't Kiwanis.
But you find.
So, yes, so what I was getting at there is that just because maybe racing for dollars wasn't my gig, I could still be a Kiwanian, and there's lots of other areas to serve.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. You can get people, and what we found with not only with that one, but some of the other organizations I was in, that they get in and they say, well, you know, we really ought to do this because I see that as a need. And 4 or 5 people would say, yeah, that sounds good. Let's do that. And so then we would come in as a group and help out. Somebody would lead it, but we all sort of
Right.
jumped in with it. So
Mhm.
while we were not servant leaders, we were all servants for the things we did.
Yep.
And servant leadership, I have a couple leaders, but the rest of us are serving, and that's just as important.
Yeah. I have a friend who has a church of about 1,000 in Jackson, 3 services every Sunday.
Well,
Whenever somebody wants to be involved, the first thing they have them do is set up chairs. If you can be faithful in doing that, then they move you on up to something else. But
Which church is that?
Jackson Free Methodist
I
Okay,
thought it was.
out on Park Road.
yep.
And so they start with something simple that needs to be done and see if you can be faithful in that. B and I, we've talked a little bit about this walk to Emmaus. There's about 100 people that are involved in putting one of those weekends on. Most of them are unseen, right?
Yep.
Some people have the gift of running the kitchen, and so you feed 100 people 9 meals over the weekend,
Oh, well,
and so there's planning this, and that's not my gift. I mean, I've been in there before peeling potatoes and, cutting up carrots and stuff, but other than that, that's not where I belong. And so it's no different with a service organization or anyone else. Yes, there needs to be some leadership, but there needs to be some Indians too, along with the chiefs.
That's where the servant part comes in.
Right. And I'm not sure, I think the Lions probably still use this. You talk about being a tail twister. Isn't that like 8 steps away from being president?
Something like that.
Or 9 or 10 or whatever. You have a progression every year where you get more involved and more involved. And so you're not jumped in ahead of time. You're not jumped in without being prepared, without knowing what you're getting into.
Yes. In Kiwanis, it's not an absolute requirement, but it's really suggested that you become part of the board for a 2 to 3 year period.
Okay.
And so that you learn the workings of the Kiwanis and then do that. In the Masonic Lodge, which is not, by the way, a service organization, it does a number of charity things, but there's at least 5 steps toward becoming the head of the lodge.
Things that have worked and known to be beneficial and right.
That is correct.
Right.
That is correct. You
Okay, what,
are you still, Tom? Are you still involved in anything in Homer?
You know what? I live here, but I never I worked here from 87 to 93, and that's where I got my involvement here.
The
And
reason
then,
I ask is the middle school principal just retired.
yes, I just saw they got a new one.
Yeah, and the reason I know that is the middle school principal that retired is my youngest biological daughter.
Oh, really?
oh, wow.
whoa,
Good for her. Yeah,
Talk about leadership.
yeah, that's more like being a fireman, I think, than leadership.
She was a chip off the old block, right?
Yeah, and in her case,
I
it's a big chip.
Which daughter, Ted?
That's my daughter Sally.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Ted and I've had quite a history of odd servant experiences, like the time he had to drive me to Brembo.
Oh,
B, I will tell a quick story. B needed a ride to a place where they had hired her to do some chair massages.
oh.
And it was winter time and it was a little slippery out and there was some snow on the sidewalk. And she's got my arm and we're walking and she trips and falls. B, tell them what happened next.
One of my eyes fell out.
Oh, boy.
And I didn't know I knew she couldn't see. I had no idea she had a false eye. Talk about,
Here's Ted, going, are you okay? Are you, my eye fell out. And so I took it and he put it in he wiped it off with a handkerchief and handed it back to me. He was more concerned about whether I was okay, and I was like, where's my eye? Where's my eye?
That's funny.
That's funny.
Wow.
B was fun to be a servant leader with. And she became an officer in BNI, but nobody really thought she could do the job. Turned out she did a magnificent job.
Yeah.
See, and that's a servant leader. When you see that, that's why when she joined Lions Club, they could see what she could do and gave her a chance, and look what's happened to her. She's a servant leader, and this is what people need to do. You find people that are the farthest thing you think from being a leader or even a servant, and you will find out, given them a chance, that in many cases, they will step up and really do a fine job, which is part of our job as leaders.
Availability.
Yep, to see that and to find that and to dig deep. Sometimes we got to dig real deep in people, but other times they just float to the top like me did.
Well, and me, I don't know if either one of you two know this, but Sunday, the district governors, the past district governors are going to vote on me becoming second vice district governor.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
So,
Not a problem.
Can I write in a vote?
sure.
You'll be fine.
Well, and the thing too, as a servant leader that you need to know is when you have to step away.
Mhm.
And Tom was the chairman of the Center for Women at the time that my club had elected me to be president, and I came forward and I told him, I said, I don't think it's a wise decision for me to be on the board as well as be president of my Lions Club. And Tom was my biggest support system on that from the board. I'll never forget that.
Yeah. Part of that comes from experience of being too active and spreading myself too thin to realize that you're really not that effective when you're running every which way. And you really ought to give where your heart, where your desire is, you should give it your all. And I knew that that's where B could shine. She sells me onions and nuts every year.
Did I
saw-
raise my hand and say me too?
Yep.
Get him on the list.
There you go.
So anyone
So-
else have any questions?
Yeah, I was gonna say, tell me a little bit about the group there. How is it, how new are you? And what structure do you have in place? Do you have the officers in place already, or is that too new, or what's going on there?
We've been around for about a year.
Okay,
Was it 2022, Roger?
It was.
Yes,
Phyllis,
last year.
Phyllis, can you take, yeah, we just had our 1 year anniversary, like what,
June.
a month
June?
in early June?
Right.
and do you need to be sponsored by another group, or how do you get chartered into the Lions Club?
They were sponsored by my club.
Okay,
Yeah. And then Jim came and I don't know, the district decided I needed to be the guiding lion.
Thankfully.
Well, yeah. And then we had a couple of other guiding lions along the way. They kept trying to call poor Roger down here, the club founder, when really,
Where that came
and Roger's from Battle Creek, Cereal City. Did anyone else come in that I don't,
from.
just you?
Just me.
Okay.
Me. Yeah.
Just the important guy. And
Mainly the winter camp, because of the winter camp.
Yeah.
action.
Yeah, that's,
they started because of
That's
a
how it-
program called Winter Camp for the Blind. And it's a camp that goes on one weekend out of every year, the first weekend in February.
Yep,
And it's held here at Clear Lake Camp in Dowling. And am I right so far?
Yep. so
Okay.
far.
And our district governor at the time, it was my good friend David Anderson, said, you know, you guys need to think about maybe starting your own club after we had, what was it, one virtual winter camp because of
Yeah.
COVID.
Right.
And so then after that point, a bunch of them got together. I wasn't as active, and I'm still not as active in the chats as I should be for winter camp, but most of the people that are a part of the club were a part of the club because of winter camp.
Okay.
And then along came the opportunity for Jesse to join when somebody from Leader Dog, am I correct?
Yes.
Told him about the club.
okay.
So the president is Phyllis. Where are you, Phyllis?
I'm right here.
Okay. And the vice president is William, who's down at
Right over
right over at the end of the table here.
here.
Okay.
And then they had a secretary, but the secretary, that's a long story that we don't really want to go into.
We're trying to move past that.
Yeah,
Resign.
Yes. And the treasurer is Kristen, and she's over.
She's got her hand
I'm right
raised.
here. I'm the second one because our
Okay.
other one
Passed away.
passed away.
yeah.
And then we have the chap,
last week.
we have the servant membership director,
Suddenly.
Lindsay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lindsay, are you still there?
Hello.
There she is.
Okay.
You sleeping?
No, I was
And-
not sleeping.
And then,
I know, dude.
and then we have the chaplain, who's David Sternman. And I think that's all the board members that we have at the retreat.
Right, Gina is not here.
Yeah, she, or,
We do have a service coordinator named Gina Rowell, and I'm telling you, she could put some of the other service coordinators in some of the other clubs to shame.
We are looking for a secretary if you know someone that wants to join and would like to be a secretary.
yeah,
Well,
And you're-
actually, one of the panelists that was supposed to be on, my friend Joy couldn't make it because her dad ended up, his pastor passed away, and his pastor was the best friend, was his best friend.
sorry.
And her dad was going to start chemo today for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So, all right,
Tell
any
me,
other questions?
tell me about a project that has your interest, something that you have either started or have completed. If you've been around for a year, tell me about something that excites you guys as a group.
I wish Gina was here.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Phyllis,
was
you
Gina.
want- Phyllis,
ahead.
you want to answer that?
I know Gina, which is our service chair. I know she's been working on several projects, trying to get them to go. I know one is to collect eyeglasses. She did get the boxes, and if anybody, she's been telling people if they need them to contact her, and then she can send them out to her.
A great resource for that is funeral directors.
Oh, I haven't thought about that one.
If you have some contact in your area, just to go up and say, look, we're for the local Lions Club, because they will often ask the family, that's my mother-in-law, say hi. They'll often ask the family if they'd like to donate the glasses.
No, I never even thought about that. That'd be a very good resource.
yeah, that's something.
Yeah. I like that.
So it sounds like you got several things in the hopper. One of the organizational skills is to plan 1, 2, or 3 things that everybody can get excited about and try and get them accomplished, fairly quickly. gets your name out there, you're going to be a little different. Let me share my background. I didn't become a pastor till I was 46.
Oh, wow.
And I took an unconventional, at the time, course of study. It was 100% online through my denomination. And I learned that even though I have had the qualifications to be licensed and ordained, there would be places that would not consider me to serve. I was 46, one close to 50. I couldn't and still can't read Greek or Hebrew. I had a computer program that translated things for me so I could understand what the scripture said, but I didn't have the education.
It's all about a project.
And so I actually had a pastor friend of mine say, you need to understand there are some places that are not going to look at you.
Mhm.
But he went on to say, find the places that will. Are there any other that you know of virtual Lions clubs?
There's one in
There is.
Indiana.
Indiana, okay,
There's one other one in Michigan, apparently.
Hawaii.
okay.
And there's one in Hawaii.
Oh, wow,
Exactly.
Hawaii's
About
got a
that one.
very big one.
right. And they're 6 hours away, timeline. Or
Well, and
time
then
zone.
There's the hybrid one in our own district, the Jackson County Virtual
Okay.
Professional.
Those places might be a great resource for you to say, you know, what's working for you, what's not working for you. If they're servants, they're gonna want to share with you what's working, so you're not spinning your wheels. Right, Ted?
Absolutely. You know, mentors are one of the things that I have on my list to mention. When you find someone who's some group, whether it's Hawaii or whatever, that doing things that you would like to see done, contact them and let somebody or something or some people become your mentors so that you can do the same thing.
Yeah, you'll adjust it a little bit based on, you know, how your club works and everything, but there's no reason to reinvent the wheel if somebody's already doing it.
Right.
And they'd be happy to share that information with you. We have a network at Center for Women. Hannah has developed a network with a pregnancy place in Southfield, and one in Toledo, and one in Grand Rapids.
Oh my goodness.
And those four ladies talk a lot. Kalamazoo as well. You know, what's working for you? You know, if you tried this, what obstacles did you have? You know, what are you going to run into? What mistakes did you make that I don't have to learn? You know. But I would encourage this group to find something, even if it, you know, you talk about racing for dollars. They didn't make $100,000 the first year, right? But they kept at it. Find something that you can do that would make your name known as a group, something positive. So B, I'm just thinking of Ashley Smith. She might be a resource for you guys. She is huge. Ashley Smith, was she
Oh
on the board?
gosh, yes.
She knows the internet inside and out, and YouTube and Twitter and TwitFace and all those other things. She might be willing to help. I could send you her information if you'd like. To be a resource person. I don't know what you've got as far as internet or.
Well, we're on the internet for sure, because we're virtual.
Yeah.
So, and I think Jesse's working on a website.
Yeah, we've got a website up, and that's part of what we're doing with this retreat is creating some content. And I was actually working on
For
some
that.
updates. So we're
Good.
getting this along, and the Facebook's coming along, so. She'd
But
be a good person for Phyllis and I maybe to visit with together,
Awesome. So you're already on.
Ashley would be great.
yeah,
I agree.
so I would appreciate that. very
You want to
much.
get name recognition, right off the bat. You've got Lions. Is there any resources from Lions Club Michigan, Lions Club International that you could tap into?
So one of the resources that we've tapped, Kristen and I especially have, is Justin Faber. He's a past international director, and he's been a big help. One of the issues that seems to exist, at least from his standpoint, is that there's maybe not a great deal from international on virtual clubs, and there's been some questions that have even come up that we even had some trouble getting some answers to, maybe early on, but I think it sounds like they're working on resources, but not, if they're there, we're not aware of them.
And
Okay.
the problem with LC Lions International is, and they're still working on it, is accessibility.
And
Okay.
actually, to a platform I had some training with, it's called Salesforce. But they're still working on switching over to it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while yet.
Yeah, and we'll actually talk about that. We're actually gonna talk about that here shortly, that switch, so.
I think
Good.
Roger Bossy, but one of the things that's unique about this club is that 98, I don't know what percent now, but 98% of the members are either blind or visually impaired.
Okay.
The Lions Club is supposed to be all about, preserving vision and helping the blind, but their systems aren't accessible. And so that's been a big challenge. And probably if I saw a mission for this club would be to challenge the international organization to become more accessible and just be a thorn in their side to do that.
But don't join the NFB or the ACB to do it. That's my personal thing.
Yeah. So you've got several projects you're working on, outreach. How are you exclusively looking for blind or visually impaired folks, or is that just the way that it started because you all had that common interest, common trait?
Well, that's because we started with the winter camp. And then when we started this, anybody's welcome to join us. Doesn't matter if they're sighted or non-sighted.
Okay.
I was one of the last members and I'm sighted as long as I have my glasses.
We like it when Kristen takes her glasses off, because then she's
No,
more.
She fits right in.
in. Can't wait to see how she does with a canoe paddle without her glasses on.
Oh, I wear glasses.
That's almost as good. Wait, are you still on, Ted? Or are you?
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm on.
I
It's
just
almost-
gonna ask, what suggestions would you have for a young club, Ted?
My pet situation is projects. Because the more you do, the more people find out about you, the more the people will want to join. And we found that in all the quote regular clubs is people, when we do a project, I mean, we've had probably over the time that they had the Racing for Dollars, we probably had 20 people join because they came to Racing for Dollars.
One of the things that I shared with Gina, and I think I shared it with you, Phyllis, maybe, and I know Kristen and I talked about it, but we need two things. We need members and we need money. And I'm a professional fundraiser anyway, and so I've been kind of working with Gina on things. And one of the things that I talked to a couple people about is a virtual walk to winter camp. And so for Kristen and I, round trip, that's about what, 1,000 miles?
They're from Iowa.
Okay.
And so what I kind of pitched to Gina was, hey, $1 a mile, and figure out, for me, what is it round trip, for Kristen, for David, whatever, add that up and then go out and find
Oh, okay.
sponsors, because at that point we are, we're sharing about the club, we're raising money, we're doing both at the same time. And I think it'd be pretty great. I think Lindsay's the only one I haven't really talked to about it, so I'm hoping we.
This is the first your guiding lion has heard about this.
Oh, this idea just came out.
This is the first. I've
That's
heard
pretty
of it.
cool.
Yeah.
So just-
He told me about it and I thought it was a pretty good idea.
I like the idea.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I'm hoping, and I think Gina agreed with me, we're hoping to come out of this retreat with either a fundraiser ready to go or potentially even started. So we'll see how things go.
Well, the nice thing about that is you can have that as, you could have a quarter even as your start base.
Right.
As far as miles go, or you could just have some people give donations, like I could see Ted giving,
Mhm.
never
Ted.
mind.
20,000 started.
Oh, I was gonna say a massage worth, or
Yeah,
10 massages worth. And then what I would do, Ted, is if you did that, I would give you the 10 massages as a donation. So,
Yeah. She does that for Center for Women often. It sounds like you've been thinking and you're still in the process of saying we got to get going, which is right. I still think there's something untapped there about, you guys have the opportunity to educate Lions Club International about what you're about. And not in a beat down way, but you say, hey, we're out here. This is what we're doing. You will embarrass, you should embarrass some of the knife and fork clubs that Ted's talked about by being able to do something. How would that work with onions and nuts and things like that? Or is that just your local club, B?
well, that's our local club, but there's no reason they can't do that too.
Okay.
We'd have to
Delivery would
figure
be
out a
it.
way.
Yeah, delivery
Yeah.
would be an issue.
Let me help you with that. Let me help you with that, B. One of the other ideas that I talked to Gina about, and nobody else has heard about it, including Kristen, which for Kristen to not know something a rarity. I've got a connection in Iowa that is a coffee roaster, and she has the program for nonprofits, and she will actually do the shipping. And so that's an opportunity. It's not onions. I think it's better than onions. I like onions. Lighter than onions, so we've got,
I like ideas too.
I think we're gonna have to get creative, virtual
Yeah.
fundraising can be hard, especially if you're doing that product.
Have you talked with her about this already?
I believe I did.
So there's another fundraiser for you guys.
Yeah.
I have some fun experience myself being the Boy Scouts.
But
Right.
the other thing too is you have 2 speakers in your club who can talk about Leader Dog.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, William, I shouldn't be pointing fingers at you and saying, you can do it.
He walked out of the room.
He's out, he's not here.
Yeah, he walked in the room, he knew we were on it.
So-
But William and I both, you're right.
So, you guys could educate on that level, but no, it sounds like you guys are thinking and planning, which is the main reason you had this retreat. Part of the reason why they finally decided to have this retreat was because when they went through the roles, am I correct in this? They found that they lost quite a few members.
We basically have 14 members now.
You lost the quantity, you didn't
Yes.
lose the quality.
Right, we lost the quantity.
And so the quality is gonna get together and kind of. Let's fix this club, let's get it going, let's keep it alive.
Absolutely.
And one thing that might help with your fundraising is if you, and you may already know this, what are you gonna do with the money?
Give it away.
Yeah, we're saying we're gonna give it to XYZ, or we're gonna provide backpacks to the local school, or whatever it is. If people know where the money's going, they're more likely to give or give more.
I agree with that one.
There is a book, Ted knows where I'm going with this one. There are a series of books that I highly recommend you guys get a hold of. They're both available on Bookshare. One and one only is available on Bard, which is the Braille audio reading download. But I highly recommend that you guys read The Traveler's Gift and The Traveler's Summit by Andy Andrews.
Oh, that sounds good.
I read the one already.
The Traveler's Gift is the only one that is available on Bard. But
Right.
they're both available on Bookshare. Do you have anything to add to that, Ted?
He's gone, but he'll be
Okay.
back.
No, my internet's not.
So-
Be right
And-
back.
I'm not sure.
So what do you think about, I suggested they read The Traveler's Gift and The Traveler's Summit.
Oh.
You say The Traveler's Gift?
The Traveler's Gift. And it's an apostrophe.
Read the Traveler's Gift and the Traveler's Summit. Who's that one?
Andy Andrews.
The author is Andy Andrews.
Looking them up.
Yeah, the one, like we said, the ones on Bard, you could download that one, but the other one's on Bookshare too. I haven't read that one yet.
Well, they may be on food or the.
But you can probably download them off of his website. And if you do, if you're able to get the audio version of them, they're read by him. They're read by the author.
Okay.
The one on Bard is not. It's read by LJ Ganser, and I'm not
Right.
sure about his reading style.
Amazon has Kindle and Audible audiobook of both of them.
All right. But yeah, I had, because first you need to know about the 7 decisions that are gonna help make you guys successful. And I can write a 1-page handout of those 7 decisions.
Oh, that'd be
I
awesome.
think
What
one
are-
is we lost by a few members.
Um,
That is not,
I will be,
it's probably a little different.
the first one is,
to me.
I will be I accept responsibility for my past. The second one is I will seek wisdom. The third is I will become a person of action. The fourth is I will choose to have a decided heart. The fifth is I will choose to be happy. The sixth is probably my favorite one. I will greet each day with a forgiving spirit. And the seventh is I will persist without exception. So those are all in the Traveler's Gift, and the Traveler's Summit is a summit about finding what can be done to help keep the human race going. And it's 2 words. You guys know what those 2 words are? Tom said them a few times, so
That's right.
without even knowing it. It's do something,
Yeah,
but you have to read both books are really, it's not necessarily a great theology lesson or anything like that,
mhm.
but they're both really, because this guy travels in time, but it's really kind of fun to tap into. What Andy Andrews did was he tapped into what he had researched about different people that he had learned about that were successful.
Mm.
And he used that in a novel to show people how to learn those 7 decisions for success and how to learn how to do something.
B,
So,
that
Yeah.
is called motivation.
Motivation.
thank you.
And I
But you
love that
agree
book.
with me, you agree with me, they should read those, right?
Oh, absolutely. that one thing servant leaders do is they have a personal development as part of their daily routine. And I've used this for a number of years, read 10 pages of a good book every day, whether it's in the morning or at night. I read it at night because when the last thing I read pretty much sticks with me through the night. So my brain is never asleep. And it processes the things that I put in it the last 10 minutes or so of my wakefulness to go to sleep.
And I thought I was crazy because I do it at night.
Oh, no.
That's great. I like that. That's what I should do.
And I get up in the morning and do motivation and my gratefuls. I'm grateful for the things that I'm grateful for.
That's another thing you can do.
That's good.
Positive affirmation.
Every day you should say something.
Anyone else have any questions or anything? Jim, what do you think about doing this as a zone meeting?
We can try anything. That works good for me.
Okay, we might think about that.
You know, this was really helpful for us. I
You
think.
figured out this is right.
What was that, Jim?
You figured I moved to a different part of the room.
Yep. Jim's our other guiding lion, and what he and I do is we're both zone chairs. And we decided, because we both live in the same condo complex, is that we would get together and plan zone meetings together and do joint zones rather than each one of us doing individual zones.
That's a great idea. Things we bring live.
We've had some great meetings.
Teresa, yes. Teresa, again.
So,
Really good one.
Teamwork makes it easier.
It does.
yep. Anything else that anyone wants to say?
Appreciate you guys' wisdom.
Yeah, appreciate this. I appreciate B approaching me with this idea and putting this together. So, and thank you to the panelists and all of that. So definitely. We've gone a little bit out of order here. It's about 4:16. We've actually been extremely efficient. The last thing that we had kind of on our agenda today was to start talking about personal mission statements. And the more I thought about it, and as Kristen and I kind of talked about it, and she's actually done more work with personal missions than I have, even recently. I thought maybe we could have a short discussion about personal missions and kind of walk out of here tonight and use the evening to think about that.
Before we do that, or before you guys do that,
Yes, great, thank you.
Tom, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. I had asked Tom because of the things that you guys have been going through, and that includes planning this retreat, because this retreat, it looked like wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
I had asked Tom if he would do a short blessing over the club for you guys, so I wanted to make sure that we did that, so before Ted and Tom left.
Okay.
Do that. And Father, we just thank you for Lions Club International, for the group that has done so much for so many. And this is a young group as far as the Lions Club goes, and they're organizing and planning and strategizing, and comes to the point when we're young that we're discouraged and angered sometimes that we can't do all the things that other groups can do. We see some groups running and we're still crawling, and I just want to ask that you'd provide them with encouragement and strength and wisdom, and just the opportunity that they can be blessed by you so that they can be a blessing to others. We just want to lift them up. We thank you for the opportunity that we have had to share with them today. We thank you, praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you both.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Someone there.
Sure.
Yes, thank you, yes.
So what's the question, Kristen? What are their missions in life? Okay, so are you still, are you both still here?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Yep.
So what are your missions in life?
My mission has been twofold lately. Well, actually, since I've been a pastor. And the first one was in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 19, I think it is. It says, pray also for me that when my mouth opens up, it'll be your words that come forth, basically. Give me wisdom. And then encouraging and strengthening as many people as I can along the way. There comes a point where in life where time seems to move rather rapidly, somewhere between my 30s and my 50s or 55s. And I realized I didn't have much time left, and I wanted to promote as many folks along the way as I could, encourage them and strengthen them. And so that's the two. I want to speak the right words, and I want to share them with as many people as I can. And Ted's microphone is off and he's not there, so he might be running somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I appreciate that very much. And so, I think I've always struggled with personal mission, just because there's so many aspects of life. And I've seen a lot of people do it, I've seen some great general ones. I wish I had a few examples. I've seen a lot of people do them specific to their jobs, specific to service, whatever it may be. And I've really struggled, with mine. And I think even as I've thought about coming here, I'm coming closer.
My personal mission is to find 5 people who will carry forth with the projects that they have started in their life and have been discouraged with, that we can get them moving forward so that 5 people can go out and work with 5 more each. And that's 25, and then 5 more each, that's 125, and so on and so on. That's my mission in life, to have people have a better life by doing things like that.
And am I one of those 5 people? I'm just kidding, Ted.
Oh, he went away again. You made him mad.
But B, you are one of 5, and
Well, thank you.
and look at the people you've touched already, and the people that you're going to touch in the future, and then those people will go out and touch 5 or more and do the same thing, and pretty soon it goes from 125 to 625, and so on and so on. 1250, so on and so on.
Yeah.
And that's what our good Lord taught us with 12 apostles, and look what happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both.
Yeah, appreciate your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That worked quite a bit.
B, you can share my email with that group if you'd like, if they have any other questions or
Okay,
whatever, they can send it to me.
Yeah, and mine also.
okay.
You have mine, I know.
Phone numbers too, or no?
It's what?
I said phone numbers too, or no?
Yeah,
Sure.
that's fine.
Sure.
Okay. All right, you guys got mentors now.
Awesome.
Oh, boy.
Hey, I love it.
Absolutely.
Hey, I need 5 more, because I haven't done 5 in the last about 6 weeks. So 5 more would be great. I've got Jesse's.
Good.
Okay,
Appreciate that.
all right.
All right, we'll leave and let you get on to your club business.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me on.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you for joining.
Nice to meet you.
Appreciate it.
So we will, I've heard from Gina, she accidentally got double booked. And the more I think about this personal mission piece, I feel like we need, you know, the evening to kind of reflect and start to draft. You know, otherwise we sit here and we, you know, ponder back. You're right. Yes, exactly. You know, and then B pops her eye out and keeps us, you know,
Hey.
laughing and.
I will not do that.
Is it roll? Is it roll me?
Yes.
What are you trying to do?
Like a marble?
One area real quick for us.
Kristen's trying to pull something up.
She probably, when it kicks it, trying to envision the guy trying to find it, you know?
Uh-huh.
I'll give you a round. I just got a text from my specialty eye care where I have an eye appointment next month
Mhm.
on August 11th. I'm going, August 11th, why does that date sound familiar? So I looked it up. It's the Friday I signed my quote to do kid site at the Jackson County Fair.
Whoops.
Oh,
Something that to cancel the eye appointment, that I consider that a little more important.
Wait a minute.
On the surface.
You're gonna cancel an eye appointment so that you can do screening?
Yes.
so wait, you're gonna tell people how important screenings are, but yet you canceled your screening.
Well, I'll read those, maybe, I have to have the eye appointment, so just read, I can read.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I find it more important being one of the certified people that can do the screening. than screening.
I didn't. What are you trying to pull up?
Yes.
Be present.
So
Yeah,
there's a
but
cheat
there's
sheet on
dates.
here on mission statements that I was gonna pull up, but it's.
We're definitely having something, we're barely getting our Zoom, I feel like.
Like I said, you want some people the next week, you have to do one over.
Well, a mission statement should be
It was like the components of how to put it.
Yeah,
comprehensive, but short.
There was.
right, and that was kind of my point is, you know, something that you can remember.
Mhm.
And something that's easily, you know, for me, when I'm done, I want to post it in my office and, you know, or put it on the back of a business card or,
Yeah,
you know, something like that. Kristen still.
Does the club have a mission statement now?
So we
we
do,
don't.
we have a draft.
sorry, yeah, sorry.
And that's part of what we're doing. We're talking personal mission statements now and finishing that in the morning, and then we're going into finishing our mission statement that then can go to the full club. So we'll be talking club mission in the morning.
I was thinking I read, I think the draft, I think, in some of your stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read it too.
Yeah, and Wayne and I talked about it, and that was something him and I were kind of working on, and we got distracted.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of like, you know, as he was talking about finding something that's a passion of a passion for the club,
Mhm.
you know. And,
Yeah.
You know, to me, that sort of fits hand in glove with that piece of advice is to, you know, whatever you're. Our club struggles sometimes, because we say, okay, what's our mission statement? And when people come in with requests or different things, or somebody has an idea about what we're doing, you know, or what we ought to be doing, and a lot of times some of our older members will say, okay, does that fit our mission statement? You know, is that part of what we as a club are about? You know, and every club is different, you know.
Mhm.
Well, one of the things we talk about, and William and I hear this a lot, doing the work we do with Leader Dog, they talk a lot about mission fit, and they do it more than any other organization I've ever been around.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And oh yeah, no, especially in the philanthropy committee meetings, it comes up a lot of, you know, does this fit our mission? And if you really listen, if you if you're ever at Leader Dog, either as a client or if you're a Lion that goes when they do their Lions visit, by the way, it sounds like it's going to be in September. It's going to be like the second or third weekend of September. And Roger, you should drive down. You guys should go.
What's this?
Leader Dog does a Lions visit, a day where Lions come in and visit.
Oh,
Oh, we did that in April.
Yes, okay, so you've done this. Okay, good. And so especially Melissa Weiss, she'll talk a lot about mission fit. And so when I think about our personal missions or our club missions, you know, hey, something comes up, does that fit? If it doesn't, I'm doing it. So.
Not the one I'm looking for. However, so basically a mission statement is what are you wanting to do and how you're gonna do it, in essence. So a mission statement shouldn't be very long. And a lot of times if you're overthinking like Jesse does all the time, it's probably not gonna look very good. So some main questions that mission statement should be able to kind of answer is, who's our audience? Like when we're serving, because we are a service kind of components, we're service people, because otherwise we wouldn't be part of the Lions Club, is who are we trying to service, or what are we wanting to do in life? Products, like what kind of services are we providing? And that, where are we going to do this? Sometimes they'll include technology stuff, especially if it's a business. However, for personal statements and that, I don't think that we really need to care about technology. And that, is there concerns about growth and productivity or survival? Is there a big philosophical kind of topics that are really like your motive? Because a mission statement is your motive in life. What is your motivation to keep going? It's your self-concept, and it's what does your image that you want to be presented to everyone in the world? And the last one is like, if there's a big concern, how are you gonna kind of overcome it? So one reason that Jesse says that some people's are really work related is because he hates mine. I'll go ahead and give mine.
I actually like yours.
I
like the proportion you change it.
So I have a mission statement at work, and I don't know how many people actually realize what I do or not. So my mission statement, because at our facility that I work at, everyone has to have their own mission, and they also have to have a shadow. And that, so what my mission statement is my mission statement is to provide a safe atmosphere, to provide self-acceptance, boundary, and conflict resolution skills while overcoming the past, being mindful of the present, and empowering for the future. And my shadow is to add to the chaos and the negativity of the world. So a shadow is what's going to make it so that you cannot do your mission. What is your biggest barrier to actually complete it? So I am a therapist, mostly children, but I work a lot with children, and where I work, self-acceptance is a big thing because we have a lot of trauma. I work with the children that are the naughtiest of the naughtiest almost. So that's why self-acceptance is a big thing, because a lot of them don't have it, and they don't know how to have boundaries with other people. They also don't know how to deal with conflict, and parents don't know how to deal with conflict. And that's why they end up living at the facility that I'm at until we can get them stable and back in their homes. And they do have a lot of trauma. So that's where you bring the past. The present is just the present now, and future is giving them hope for that future. I was told that mine is way too long, which
I thought was bull. I thought it was great.
I did change it for the moment to help provide self-acceptance and hope for the past, to be mindful and to overcome future. So
Mine is relatively short. It's basically to know I can heal if I follow my heart. And basically what that means is that I know that I can trust that whatever I do with my hands as a massage therapist is either going to help somebody to relax, help somebody to deal with spiritual or physical or mental issues.